Hey, you are along for the ride with the Mad Dog and Cole the Passmaster Farrell.
A Ducati is just duck-flavored manicotti.
I decided to fly through the air and live in the sunlight and enjoy life as much as I could, and that's just what I'm doing.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm.
Man, thank you so much, Mr. Evil Knievel, for those inspiring words. We should all take a minute and live in the sunlight and follow your dream, just like we are.
And of course, thanks to the first responders and the troops of this great nation that let us have this stupid podcast.
Amen. God bless America. And, of course, couldn't do it without our great partners, Kicker Performance Audio, kicker.com. Check them out for all your car, truck, boat, motorcycle, off-road, golf cart, personal audio, anything you need. Check them out, kicker.com. And, of course, Bomber Eyewear. Yeah, that's right. BomberEyewear.com. The floating sunglasses, the floating safety glasses. Bomber Floating Eyewear. Hundreds of styles, hundreds of options. Check them out. BomberEyewear.com. The Premix Podcast. Find them on Instagram at the Premix Podcast. Our man Cole sharing his passion through photography for desert racing. If you're out there and need some pics done at one of these races that he's at, man, shoot him a message on Instagram at the Premix Podcast, all one word. That's ThePremixPodcast on Instagram. Of course, Kelsey Morrell Film. Our YouTube channel wouldn't be growing without Kelsey Morrell Film. You need commercials or video production, hit her up on Instagram at Kelsey Morrell Film. Man, I am so excited for this episode. I cannot wait. We have the one, the only, Mitch Guthrie Jr. coming up.
Say what?
All right. We don't want to wait any longer, ladies and gentlemen. Mitch Guthrie Jr., the man, the myth, the legend. What's up, bro?
How's it going, guys?
Awesome. Thank you.
Happy to be here, finally.
Yeah, man, it's been a journey for sure. I know you're so busy. I know you've apologized a couple times for not being able to get on when we've tried, and I'm like, don't ever I'm so proud of you, dude. I am so happy to see you succeeding the way you're succeeding. It, I would be happy to take 10th seat in your progression, dude.
You've been there. You've been one of the OGs, Lauren, just straight from the beginning.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll get into that. The first thing we're going to do is Cole is going to play Statman and hit our fans with some of your stats, just so you know what you're dealing with here.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong on any of these, Mitch, but even more so, stop me if you get bored, because the accolades are a lot. Works champion, UTV Worlds champion. I believe you have 3 Dakar stage wins. Baja 1000 champion, multi-time Mint 400 winner, Tonopah 250 winner, Parker 250 winner, youngest ever UTV Hammers participant as a co-driver, Terracross driver, California 300 champion, Vegas Torino champion, and multiple time, back-to-back King of the Hammers wins. How's that for a resume?
I'll take it.
Yeah, Silver State 300 champion, I believe, also this year or last year.
Technically, this year I got second place because I was in unlimited, so that class 1 got me by 12 seconds.
Oh, still
but I'll
class
take.
one.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. And I think isn't it eight Dakar stage wins actually?
Uh, yeah, somewhere around. I got 5 this year, and then I think my first year, yeah, roughly, I think 3. So somewhere
Yeah,
around there.
yeah, yeah. I looked it up. Not gonna lie, I there's so many. I was almost out of fingers, man. But yeah, yeah, man, what a list! And that's just the major hits, you know. Um, dude, I want to know. I mean, I know a lot of this story, but our people don't. So, like, where did it start for you?
Yeah, so for me, I kind of grew up. My dad was into racing, so back before like the Ultra Four stuff, there was rock crawling. It was called, but it wasn't like it is today. Really, it was more of a like slow. They had cones out for the cars, and you couldn't back up, and it was like super technical. So I grew up going to that type of racing with my dad, and then also just going to the desert for fun. So we've always been into off road. And then these things called trophy carts came out when I don't know, I was around 9 or 10 probably. And I was like obsessed with those things. I was looking up videos of them like every day when I get home from school and begging my parents for one, of course. And me and my dad actually took me to a race, and that was like game over for I think both of us because we saw it, live, and it just looked like the most fun thing ever. And from there, I was obsessed. Thankfully, my parents got me into it and got me a trophy cart for my birthday. I don't know when it was. I was like 9 or 10. So started racing the trophy carts, and that's kind of from there. The rest is history. I was so into it. We were going to races all the time, had some success, and then eventually hopped into Polaris Razors. Once I was kind of too old, I think I was like 15 and jumped over to those. And I guess kind of the rest is history from there.
I think you were younger than that, weren't you?
I think my first race I was around 9 in the trophy cart,
Yeah,
somewhere.
that's crazy. That is crazy. That's awesome though. And you brought up something really solid, about your dad and how your dad kind of guided you, if you will. I don't know if guided is a word, but we're going to use it. Um, and Your dad is an awesome dude. I love your dad to death. Uh, which those of you listening, Mitch Guthrie Sr. is the eight time UTV king of 8 time or
6 time.
6 time. Eight between the two of you. That's right. But I believe, didn't you co-drive for him 3 of those wins of his?
I'm not sure. Actually don't remember how many, but at least one. And I was in the seat a few times. It's crazy. It was so long ago now that I was riding with him. I don't know how old I was, like probably 16, somewhere around there. So long ago, but yeah, it's been pretty cool to start riding with him and eventually do it on my own.
Yeah, and it's really cool having worked with you and been around you at the track so much, especially like in the early, the works days and stuff and world championship days, having your dad as a crew chief. And I mean, the group you ran with and raced with also, so people know, was no slouch. I mean, he raced like RJ Anderson, Ryan Piplick, you know, all these uh all these notables, and Mitchie was able to, hammer down a lot of wins in works. And what, two championships was it, or one?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I have so many pictures of me and you with number one plates that I don't know which is where. Um, but I want to stay on about your dad for a second because I read this online when I Googled you, and hopefully your dad listens to this because he's probably not happy with this quote. But I want to know what you think of this. It says Mitch Guthrie Jr. was a student of one of the greatest off-road racers ever. Dot dot dot. There was very little doubt he would eventually become the teacher.
I think I'm still learning.
I, man, you'll have to let me know uh, what your dad chimes in about on that, because maybe he'll just text me and say, "Hey, you need to cut that part" or something. But
No, I think yeah, with my dad, I mean, greatest of all, one of the greatest of all time. I would call him that for sure. He's done so much, and then yeah, just over the years, everything I've learned from him, I've put into what I do now, and I still don't think though that I'm the teacher yet. I think I'm still learning from him. I definitely still need him, so I won't call that one yet.
yeah, for sure. And you know, he'd laugh about that. I know he'd laugh about that and crack another cold one and probably make you go clean the car yourself or something. Uh,
Yeah, that's how it used to be with him. Like when I first started with the trophy carts and everything, it was like I didn't know how to work on anything. So he did everything, and I would be in the garage there just watching or handing him a wrench and watching him get pissed off at the car when things are going right. But that's where I learned, you know, so much of what I know now. And then it kind of transformed from the trophy carts when I got into the razors. Then I kind of started doing more and more. And now my dad still helps me out a ton, but he's able to kind of sit back a little more and, you know, just go to the races and crew chief and do his thing. But he's still like such a, I still couldn't do even the desert racing without him. He's such a huge help in the pits and does all the strategy and keeps everyone in order for sure.
yeah, and there's no doubt in my mind that both of you are some of the greatest off-road racers ever. Um, and I'm not convinced your dad is done. I think sooner or later you're gonna see him in a right seat somewhere or back behind the wheel, which would be rad.
Yeah, he's taken a few years off of King of the Hammers now, and I actually didn't race it this year. Took the year off, so already I want to be back, of course. And looking at next year, even I'm like, man, how can I get like myself and my dad both, uh, either him riding with me or him driving his own car, and you know have a 2 car team, kind of like we've done a couple times. So I fully agree. I think he's definitely not done. He'll be back.
That's
Oh,
rad. That's so cool, man. And so much heritage, you know. And on top of it, your dad, your mom, your sister, your whole family, I consider family, and they're, you know, I just love them. They're great people on top of everything else.
yeah, I'm really lucky. My mom, especially, also on my mom and my dad have helped me like tremendously. My dad on the racing side with wrenching on the cars and all that, and then my mom on, you know, the business side and helping me so much with that, especially even still now when I'm gone at Dakar or something like that. She's able to help me out with so much stuff. So definitely, like you said, it's like for us it's a family thing, and it's always been, and I'm so lucky to have that because not everyone does. So it's makes it that much better when I'm racing.
Yeah, for sure. And man, it's just, I mean, it's crazy. So I've got to go into this because this is I knew who Mitch Guthrie and Mitch Guthrie Jr. were. Um, back, I guess it probably would have been 13, maybe 12. Um, and I saw what Junior was doing, and I'm at Sand Sports Super Show, and I'm standing at I can't remember her name now. She's such a sweetheart. At the little coffee booth, and I'm standing there getting coffee, which people know I'm kind of well known for having my coffee. I turn around, and there's this family standing behind me, and I said hi, and then we got talking, and Senior goes, "Oh yeah, I'm Mitch Guthrie," and I'm like, "Oh, I know who you are," and he's like, "Oh." And I'm like, and I know who he is. And, you know, I know, I know you guys have a current like performance product sponsor, but if anything ever falls through, I'd sure like the opportunity to work with you guys because you guys seem like really rad people. And was it probably a month later, I get a phone call from Mitch Sr. and man, we jumped in with both feet, and I'm not afraid to tell you that I made that deal and agreed to that deal and did everything with you guys 100% on my own. And when the first big package went out to you guys, I got called into Rob's office, Muzzy's office. What the fuck is this? And I said, man, I said, this is what you hired me to do. I said, these guys got it. This is a good deal. We need this. And he was like, oh, he ripped me up one side and down the other and said, you know, you need to consult me on these decisions. And I'm like, you know what? I absolutely will next time, but this one's done. So let's move on. Um, and he did. And it wasn't long. I believe, I think the first works race in January that year, I think you finished maybe you either finished second to RJ or RJ finished second to you. And after that, man, there was never I got one pat on the back. Oh, he won a race. And after that, there was never a discussion about it again. So thank you for upholding what I believed in.
Well, thanks for believing in us. Yeah, it's crazy. Like thinking about some of the stories with not only you, but a lot of the people I've met, but especially that one when I was younger, didn't really have too many sponsors because I had just moved from trophy carts where there was nothing there. It's just thankfully my parents got me through that part of racing. So I think we were at the Sand Show, was it? And
Yep.
yeah, when we met you there, that was one of my first big sponsors I had was you guys helping me out, and it was cool the story there of how it all happened. Like just right place, right time, and just I think my dad was probably getting a coffee too right behind you.
Yep. Sure was. Sure was. Yeah, no, it's and that really I was without without getting too emotional, really, really blessed that you guys believed in me and believed me. And man, I never ever disappointed with the performance, the representation. I mean, you guys are just such great people, and you brought really me a lot of wins, a lot of pride. You know, um, I was like, well, there he is again on the box. And then I was able to celebrate that 2015 Works Championship with you in person. And I think you actually even sprayed me with champagne.
Yeah, it's cool that like the racing, it brings so many cool people, and like you're able to meet so many awesome people and develop like a lot of relationships. And you especially, Lauren, over the years, one of the most genuine people we know. And it's cool, you're still around. When we first met you, and seeing you still at so many of the races and everything, and it's cool, like all the people you meet in racing, it all comes around, and you still end up seeing everyone everywhere. So it's cool to where it all comes from.
Yeah, and really develop, it's far, far and beyond like a sponsor and a racer. You guys are family, your family, you're still my boy. Um, we were talking when we were talking about all the Dakar coverage. Uh, yeah, when you guys were on Fish, wait, yeah, that was Cole got to watch that. I think I was working when there was you and let me
Seth and
see.
I think it was me, Seth, Austin on that Fish live stream.
Yeah, that one I got to watch, which was great because that really, I even brought it up during the podcast, the recap. I was like, man, did my heart so good just see these guys on a rest day and chilling and having fun and smiling. And, because, I mean, I've never done Dakar, but Dakar is no joke. It's not just grueling. Like you're not just doing a Baja 1000 every day for 14 days or whatever, right? There's everything else about it. You guys have all the press, all the publicity, all that stuff, cameras in your face all the time, 4 o'clock in the morning in your tent after you went to bed at 3, and they're shoving a camera in your face. And you guys just, you handle it with such grace and dignity and still humble, and damn it, man, you've won 8 Dakar stages in 2 tries.
Yeah, I'm lucky for sure, and it's definitely hard. That race is crazy, and I'm lucky to even have the opportunity, to do it. It's been amazing, but it's definitely hard too. Like you said, it's a crazy, especially this year. It was 14 days. I think before it's been 12, so it's grueling. It's tough. I've learned so much over the years of doing it, so I'm lucky now to kind of be a little bit more of a veteran, not quite compared to a lot of people, but kind of know what I'm doing there now. But overall, yeah, it's such a like once in a lifetime opportunity to be able to go do that race and, see all these places we do. And not only Dakar, but all the international racing we do. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, didn't you win? Was that late last year, a rally raid?
Yeah, I don't think I haven't won an actual event yet. We've won a lot of stages at like Andalusia Rally, and we just won a couple in Abu Dhabi and whatnot. But I'm still kind of chasing that like an overall, for the class.
Right. And now, interesting enough, oh, by the way, the Red Bull Sand Scramble, the inaugural Red Bull Sand Scramble in Glamis, um, dude, I'm going to tell you, that was a really, really special moment for me to see you win. Um, I was like, God dang, he did it, and I was able to be there, watch the finish, and then be in the actual, at the podium. And dude, well done. That was so rad. Uh, but anyways, going back, um, I want to just touch on you switched vehicles late last year for your international stuff. You went from the OT3 to the MC5.
Yeah.
All right, so fill us in because MC5-E still falls into the T3 prototype category.
Yeah. Yeah. So the car I raced before the OT3, it was both of them, I guess you could say, are more of a custom car or like a one-off car. It's not like I'm racing a Polaris or a Can-Am out there. So they're a little bit similar. So they have, a 3-cylinder Volkswagen, a sequential, like no lift shift. So it's really fun to drive. It's like a real race car. And yeah, so switched over to that team. Right now it's just a single car team. Back in the day of the OT3s, it was more of a Red Bull run program. So Red Bull started that program for us young guys to kind of get our feet wet and rally raid and like basically show us the ropes. So I was lucky to kind of be picked for that. And now, driving for the MC5 team, that's, an actual team that's, eventually I think they're going to be looking to maybe put a hybrid in the car, and start selling them, maybe have a little bit bigger team. But overall, yeah, it's a pretty cool experience to be on this team I'm on now. It's just one car, so it's all on me. So the pressure is on every single race to perform for those guys and show what the car can do for them. But it's pretty cool because they're really, it's a good team of engineers, and they're really looking to develop the car and like I said, do a hybrid eventually. So that could be pretty cool.
Yeah, how much more pressure does it add that not only is it basically a first year entry car in Dakar, but it's a prototype and you're it.
Yeah, I kind of don't really think about it, I guess. I've gotten used to, plenty of pressure and all the different races I've done. So I've kind of gotten used to that, but it's definitely in the back of your head. It just makes me work, that much harder during the race and try so much harder for those guys. I'm lucky the current team I'm on has a really good team of engineers and management. And I have, Kellen Walsh riding next to me. So he's been amazing. So I wouldn't say it's more pressure. It just makes it that much better. Like we get a stage win and pull in, and our mechanics that have been working all night, to get the car ready for us, and busting their butts to give us like a perfect car every single stage. It just makes it that much better when we get a good result for them.
Yeah, that's rad. And I know I know I could tell I think you busted a steering rack this year
Yeah.
that kind of unfortunately knocked it. Did you get back going and eventually and get towed out or something or?
Yeah, it was the steering rack actually had it's a long story, but it's just like a bushing in there that ended up seizing up. So it's kind of no one's fault and just something that happened out there. So eventually I just literally couldn't steer the car anymore. It was basically locked up and like overheated the power steering. So we did everything we could taking it apart, but what we have to do at Dakar is if you need a part, I'm a single car team, so there's no other car that's going to be coming behind me that I could steal the parts from. So for us, we had to wait for one of the big trucks. So those trucks, there's some of them that actually race, and then there's the ones that start in the back that carry parts for a lot of the teams. So we kind of just sit there and call our team on the sat phone, see where that truck's at, and eventually it finally got to us. And basically from there, we just put a rack in it, which was super quick, and got that going, and we were good to go. But unfortunately, long story short, anyway, we had another problem where at night the clutch ended up going out in the car, so we ended up having to exit the stage. So that's why we didn't get a full finish this year at Dakar.
Yeah, when that happened, and Cole will verify this, we were talking about it, and I said I think you have one stage win up till then, um, and I said you better look out, folks.
Yeah, that's we were leading the overall too, so that's what
Yes,
hurt. So we were kind of doing everything perfect, and it was going well. But that's racing. Everyone can say that. So, yeah. After that, I've done it a couple times now, where it's a car you have an issue, and you kind of just go full send for every single stage and just see what you can do. So we were trying to rack up as many stage wins as we could, and ended up with 5 this year, and a couple of them, man, were so close where I wish we would have got up to that like 7 or 8 mark, but just not quite there. But I'll take 5. It was pretty good.
yeah, there was a couple where it was really close, like less than a minute, less than 30 seconds on one of them, I think.
Yeah, one stage we got third, and we were 12 seconds off the
Yeah,
leader. Second place was, I don't know, like 2 seconds off. So
yeah,
definitely at the end of it's a different race when you get to like after rest day, because you have maybe half the cars that are actually in the race. So they're, kind of more in cruise control trying to get to the finish. Then you have maybe another half of the cars that are all racing each other and going for like seconds. So, it's pretty crazy how that race kind of plays out, because stage one's completely different, like driving style that everyone's doing compared to, the final stages when everything's coming to the end.
nice. Yeah, it's man, it was that I was sure after you had to drop out of the overall, I was pretty convinced that there was going to be multiple stage wins coming, just knowing you and your drive and knowing where you came from, knowing your dad and his drive, and there's no quitting you guys at all.
Yeah, my dad's definitely taught me that. And I mean, that's what you have to do in racing anyway, is like always be pushing, even if times are tough and things aren't going your way. Even at this Dakar, like especially it hurt, we were leading the overall, and to have a problem 5 stages in, it definitely takes the wind out of your sails. But from there, it's like you kind of got to pick your head up, and I've done it, kind of learned in racing. I've had plenty of moments where things don't go your way, and you kind of got to pick your head up and keep going. And usually it ends up working out in the end.
Yeah, and just to clarify, so you're part of the Red Bull Off-Road Junior team, and you're part of that. I guess you guys are a team, right? But you operate out of the MC5 race shop, and the other one, like Seth and AJ and Christina,
Yeah.
have all now gone with South Racing, correct?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a couple different names of how Red Bull did it, but Seth, AJ, and I are like, you would call it the Red Bull Off Road Junior Team USA,
Yep.
presented by BF Goodrich, and
Well
then they're
done.
also a part of the South Racing team on top of that. So the USA is kind of just the drivers that Red Bull has picked, and they want to bring more of the United States drivers into it, and kind of start bringing us over into that, and kind of getting the story of Dakar and how it all works, and everything to the United States audience. So it's pretty cool for them to pick Seth, AJ, and myself to do it.
Yeah, for sure. But on the other side of that, you guys are great representatives, and great representatives of the entire country. So that's muchly appreciated. There was Cole. What was that? You were watching something where it was like I don't know if it was on Fish or somewhere, but Mitchy, Seth, RJ were all on the same like video feed. What was that? Do you
Yeah, that had to
remember?
be another Fishgistics because yeah, he's so good at bringing everybody together in the off-road world. I'm sure it was. I believe that might have been a post Baja 1000 get together on Fishgistics. I think that's what you're referring to.
Okay, I just remember we talked about it on one of the podcasts, and Cole was like, "Man, I'm watching this," and I'm like, "Hey, those are all Lawrence boys."
Oh, yep, it was the post Baja 1000 feedback, I should say. So yeah, that was a really cool video that he brought everyone together and had everybody in the different classes, and everybody kind of got to tell their war stories. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that. Go
it's
ahead.
interesting. I was just gonna say it's interesting. Like it's cool to be on here and talk to Fish and everything when they bring us on, because uh, just to be able to tell the stories, because a lot of the people don't know, and it's slowly getting better, but don't know how it works at the car. And just they see the stage wins or maybe the overall, but just everything outside of that's cool to tell all the stories, and everyone's kind of finally starting to learn what it's like there.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Cole. You had something.
All right. So I asked Seth the same question, and whatever your answer is, Mitch, I'm not convinced either way. But is Dakar a fun race when you think about it, or is it a self-gratifying race?
Uh, I'd say it's a fun race for sure. Yeah, it's just cool. As hard as it is sometimes, it's just I'm still learning it. So I'm so used to desert racing and works racing, all the stuff that I've done out here. But when I go out there, you're still learning every time, and like you're going to a different part of the country, or in different dunes, different landscapes every time. So it's always a learning experience. Getting lost, all those different things. So for me, it's pretty cool, like all the different things we get to see and learn, and it's always something new out there. So as much as it sucks sometimes when you're stuck in the desert waiting for a steering rack, like when you get the stage wins out there, it's the most fun thing ever.
Yeah, that's rad because it's just difficult to get halfway across the world, let alone go race and read a road book in French and learn the ASO's new rules that come up every 5 minutes. So it's nice to hear that our Americans are still having fun with it.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot, like you said. That's kind of the stuff that people don't really know about, is dealing with the ASO and FIA and all these different things. And it's a lot different than what we're used to out here. So it took a bit of getting used to. And then even just like, going out there in the beginning, I didn't even really know anyone. I just knew all the guys that I was with and the team, and that was it. So, at this point now, I'm kind of meeting a lot of people, and it's fun. It's almost like when you go to a race out here and you walk through the bivouac though, and you see all the people that from the past few years.
Yeah, and I'm sure, as as a rebel athlete, you get that all that, what would I call it? The extra ability to hang with other cool people, because as far as Dakar goes, Rebel has a lot of cool athletes.
Yeah, I've been super lucky. I mean, even when we first started, like on the OT3 team, and Seth and I knew nothing. They brought in Cyril Dupree, who's won Dakar on a motorcycle. I don't know how many times. So we even went to his home, or his country where he lives is Andorra, which is in between Spain and France or something like that. And like trained with him for a week. He gave us like so much knowledge, testing, driving the car. Like I even rode with him a bit. So yeah, like that was huge. And then on top of that, just all the cool opportunities to meet a lot of the guys. At one point I rode in the Mini with Carlos Sainz, like a photo shoot, meeting guys like Nasser, Matthias Ekstrom, who I was just racing against at Abu Dhabi. And then even the bike guys like Toby, who's one of the coolest guys. It's cool, like the opportunities that they give us just to meet all these awesome people and then get all their knowledge too, because when you're out there at the bivouac, everyone's so awesome. When you finish a stage, I could go talk to Nasser if I want and ask him some questions if I happen to see him. And hey, like where'd you turn here? And like if we had a navigation mistake or something. So it's pretty cool to have that opportunity from him.
Yeah, and what a great opportunity, because when we talked to Seth pre-Dakar, he kind of, when talking about road books, he was like, I'd never even seen one until I got there.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like for me, Seth unfortunately missed out on the first Dakar that we did, so he was there kind of watching. But yeah, even for me, we did some testing and stuff, and I didn't really know how anything works. So like one of my funniest stories is like, we have the liaisons, where we drive on the highway, obviously, and have to go to the start of the stage, and a lot of times after you finish, you go on the highway to get back to the bivouac. And one time it was the very first start on the way to stage one. So we left, I think it was Jeddah in Saudi Arabia, and we had to drive on the highway, and my co-driver was telling me where to go after we took like the little start, and he was guiding me to the highway, and I was like, we can't go on the highway. And I was so confused, and he's like, yes, turn here. And he's telling me where to go, and we're driving down the highway, and I was talking to him like, I don't, we can't be doing this. And come to find out, that's what everyone does. And it's like, I was so stupid. I had no idea what I was doing, not even to know that we could drive on the highway there. But yeah, that's kind of what Red Bull did, is they gave us some information, but it was a little bit of a crash course, and we had to learn pretty quick. But sometimes for us, I think that's the best way to learn. So it's pretty cool.
For sure. It's like, cramming for an exam. You actually probably retain more if you cram than if you study for 6 months before.
Yeah, I think that's the coolest thing with what Red Bull's done, giving us the opportunity to race Dakar, is first of all, it doesn't come very often. And then second, you need a lot of time to kind of figure out how to do it, like how it all works. And it's pretty tough to come in like your first year and just dominate. So I've been lucky enough to make a lot of mistakes and still be racing it, and they give us the chance. They know that we're probably not going to be winning Dakar the very first time we race it. We're going to be learning and figuring stuff out. So they've given us that chance. And now 3 or 4 years later, I'm able to be there and kind of not be a veteran, but at least really know what I'm doing now when I'm out there.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. You know, Cole's a fan of road books. Um,
I wouldn't say a fan. I would say that out of being a nerd, I've had to figure out how that style of racing works. So I'll meet you halfway there.
I'm not a huge fan of them. Just
maybe
kidding.
fan was the wrong word, but he's a road book nerd.
Well, yeah, now especially they've tried to make them more complicated to theoretically slow you guys down and bring the competition together, but meanwhile they're adding nonsense notes. That's what I don't like about them. It's not the information you need. It's like a competitive disadvantage, if you will.
Yeah, it's tough. This year in Dakar, they made it a little bit easier on us because a lot of people complained, I think. So the prior year when I had COVID and I missed out, a lot of people were. I think it was stage one actually. A ton of people got lost and lost even like hours. So it was a crazy year, and yeah, that's what they do. I mean, that like one of the biggest points is like the blind waypoints they give us. So they'll tell you to go through the dunes at this cap, which is the heading they give you, and it could be 8 kilometers. And then there's a little waypoint that you have to hit at the end of that 8 kilometers. And it's like when you're in the dunes, you can't just go completely straight. So it's crazy the areas that they take us through. And it's interesting to learn though, the road book. You make some mistakes like I have in the last few years. And now like at this year's Dakar, we never really had anywhere where we got super lost. Just thankfully because we've learned how to deal with it now. So it's very interesting for sure.
That's super cool. And I think this year you guys had to deal with like weather that they haven't had to deal with probably, I don't think, since they moved it to the Middle East for sure. But I'm not even sure they had to deal with that kind of weather. I think there was one when it was in South America where it was like super gnarly washouts and shit like that. I mean, that that was a whole nother deal, man. The rain and like you should be used to it after like doing desert racing here in the US and stuff. But a lot of those guys, well, and honestly, I think it kind of showed with some of the drivers that ended up, having to get extracted from rivers because they haven't dealt with maybe those or flash floods, not rivers, but same. They appear to be the same effect.
Yeah, it's actually crazy what happened with. I'm sure everyone that's watching has seen that video, and it was raining up in the mountains over here, and we were going through the sandy, like kind of sand tracks over down here, and so there was a flash flood, but I was towards the front of the pack, so I got lucky. And what the crazy part is, they actually ended up cutting that stage short. So we ended up getting to a checkpoint. They turned us, and we went down a road and got out of there. And it was raining on us like crazy. But I got to the gas station, and we were looking at videos of all these cars that were like getting sucked into a river. And we never saw that. So it was a flash flood that we had just passed, we had just beat it. And if we had maybe been 10 minutes behind that, we would have seen this giant river, but we never even saw it. So it's pretty crazy. I was really confused when I saw the videos at first. And then I realized that it was just, we got lucky and we never even had to cross anything. So,
Well, I don't know that you call it lucky if you were up towards the front because you only get up towards the front if you work for it.
yeah, I definitely got it. It worked out. It worked out for sure. So it was nice. But I mean, even like you were saying with the rain out there, it was crazy this year. And that particular stage, when we got to a checkpoint and it was a road, and they said, "Hey, the stage is over. We're stopping it here," and they turned us down this road. It just started downpouring on us, and unfortunately, I'm probably one of the only cars out there that doesn't have a windscreen. So it was gnarly. I mean, you're just sitting there. We have like some rain kind of jackets, but they don't really do too much for you, and at least when it's downpouring like that. So we sat in rain forever, and it took us probably 2 or 3 hours to get back. And you're in the freezing cold. The weather wasn't it wasn't warm for sure, and you're soaked, completely soaked, everything. Even in my seat, me and Kellen are like, it's puddling up in the seat. It was so much water that you could feel it rising in the seat. So yeah, it was tough this year. There were some long days, and especially not having a windscreen, that took a little toll on us.
Yeah, I think I remember that. You're getting back to the bivouac. You were like 300 kilometers or something on the road in the rain and the 40-degree weather or sub 40-degree weather.
Yeah. It's just sometimes it's luck of the draw. Like I said, without the windscreen, it's already freezing most of the days. So we put on like all these jackets and everything, and have to have our helmets on and all that. So it definitely makes it a little bit tougher. But it's luck of the draw. Sometimes you wake up and it's pouring down rain, or sometimes it's not. And it's the worst when you get to the finish. And sometimes we have a long liaison after the stage, and you'll go into the night freezing cold, get back late, and then just try and get everything back together and get ready to go do it all again the next day. So that's where that race just it sets itself apart from all the other races we do.
That's crazy. And thank you for that insight, because most people have absolutely no clue. They think, oh, well, they take the checkered flag, they park the car, they walk over to hospitality and get a hot spaghetti dinner and, have a couple of beers and BS with the guys and go in the toter home and sleep for 8 hours or 9 hours and get up and do it again. That is not the case.
Yeah, I mean, at Dakar, even when you're having even when you have a great day, a lot of the times, especially in Saudi, we have really long liaisons. So you'll get up in the morning, and the liaisons dictate what time you start. So like sometimes if there's a really long liaison in the morning, they'll start the stage. You have to leave the bivouac, I think sometimes we're like 5:30 in the morning where some of the cars. So that means the bikes are starting at like 3 in the morning, which is crazy. But yeah, it's just, you wake up and do a long liaison, usually have a long stage. Sometimes it rains on you, it's freezing, and then you have a long liaison back. And then it's like you get back and you got to try and take a shower and eat some food and get all your gear ready for the next day. And every day we do a debrief with the engineers. So there's another 30 minutes or so. So yeah, usually every night when we get back, it's like go, trying to get everything you need done so you can actually go to sleep and not be thinking about anything for the next day. So it's busy there for sure.
That's awesome insight, dude. Awesome. So we've spent a lot of time on Dakar because we're fascinated with it and a huge amount of information. But you went, okay, so right after Dakar, you went to, was that a rally raid?
Yeah, well, after Dakar, we had King of the Hammers. I didn't race it this year, but I helped someone. So we went there, did that. And then from there, what was next? Abu Dhabi. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was about a month and a half after we had Abu Dhabi, which is out there in the dunes. So that was basically like a full dune rally.
Nice. And you did at least one stage win there, didn't you?
Yeah, it was 5 stages. We got 2 stage wins, and two of the stages we were broken or had an issue. So yeah, it was definitely tough. We had a problem in stage one that took us out. It was kind of my fault with what happened, but yeah, to get 2 stage wins was cool, and especially the last one. It was a hard fought win. Matthias Ekstrom, who's one of like the best drivers out there, he was actually in a Can-Am. So he was super fast all week. And the last stage, we were kind of neck and neck with him the whole time, and ended up beating him and getting a stage win, which was really big for our team and everything to beat him, especially. He's a great driver. So it was, even though we weren't competing for the overall, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, racing's racing. I mean, there is the overall, I get that, but yeah, when you're especially someone like that, when you have the opportunity to get elbow to elbow and And, it definitely says a lot about not only the vehicle that you guys are developing, but it says a ton about your abilities and your talent for sure, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, it's cool. There's in that class now, the T3 class, there's so much competition. So it's really tough. It's tough to
Yeah.
even get the stage one out there. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, but it's definitely a good learning experience for us. And like it's none of the stage wins or anything come very easy for us now. It's hard fought every single day. So but that's what makes it fun, good competition.
Yeah, and that's something that I noticed is the T3 is super competitive and there's a lot of competitors. So pretty exciting. But I want to jump off of that because you did the rally raid and then it was like what were you home for a day and you went to the Mint 400. But I think right before that, I want to touch on something in between all this. You also have a fab shop where you build race cars for people called Guthrie Racing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I've kind of started that, and we're starting to do prep and stuff on race vehicles and like recreational cars, like for everyone that goes to Glamis and stuff like that. So kind of decided to start that on the side and make it into something, and it's definitely a lot of fun because it's something that I'm already into and I love, working on cars and doing just anything to do with off road. So it's fun to do that and continue to learn that kind of new side of it. So if anyone's watching Guthrie Racing, come get your car prepped.
Yeah, and Curtis does a lot of work there with you or for you.
Yep. Curtis has been there. He's been riding with me for a long time now in the desert racing and also helping and prepping the car. So having him there is huge, and he's done a really good job.
Yeah, I want to make sure and get a shout out to him because we're Instagram communication once in a while between him and I. So it's been a long time since I've seen him. But okay, so through all that, now you're running a shop. So you have a business, plus you're running your own stuff, managing Red Bull as your primary sponsor, working with a first year prototype team. Assuming that you probably helped develop the Pro R, um, the Polaris Pro R that you jumped in and started kicking everybody's ass. Um, and then so with all that going on, folks, also, this is since like what, January 5th this year?
Yeah.
Then he runs to the Mint 400 just for fun and win.
No. Well, yeah, thankfully also on top of that, I have a wonderful girlfriend that comes with me. Like she came with me to the Mint and helps me out a ton and deals with me being gone all the time. So that's great. And also my mom, dad, my whole family, like they help me out. That's what makes it possible is all my family and everyone that helps me get through all that, because sometimes I'm gone for a while, and even Curtis and the guys at the shop getting things ready, like for the Mint, I was in at the car, then I'm at Abu Dhabi, and then straight from Abu Dhabi to the race. So I don't have a lot of time to be home. So those guys are there to, get the car ready in the meantime.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I haven't got to meet your girl, but she seems pretty nice, and she's got to be pretty darn understanding and into the racing stuff if she puts up with your schedule.
Yeah, Adriana's she's pretty understanding. She's slowly becoming a racer. She was at the Mint 400 with my dad, and she rode with him the whole time. So they were going pit to pit, keeping my dad in order while papers and his phone and radios are flying everywhere. She was there to keep it all under control. So it's pretty cool.
Awesome. Hey, building your own pit manager while you're at it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Pretty soon she'll be doing tactician and on the radio yelling at you to go faster. And
She already does that. So that's good.
Good. So yeah, then you jump right to the Mint 400, and like arguably the greatest off-road race in America. Um, I hold a big place in my heart for the Mint, just because I watched it as a kid through magazines. It was rarely on TV back then. Um, but man, I've it's like Dakar, it's big special place in my heart. And so now you go there and you crank out your second Mint 400 championship.
Yeah, so it was good to be there. It was definitely weird being back in the car because I'm switching between cars all the time. So we got some testing in and kind of finished things up, and then yeah, the race was good. The first 3 laps we were all good and kind of getting back in the groove with the car. The first lap definitely took a little bit to get used to the car again. And then from there, it was like every other lap, like kind of picking up the pace. And we were right there kind of doing our thing with no problems. And we were right there on the overall times. And then unfortunately, right at the start of the last lap, we had an issue. So we had to pull into the pits and slowed us down for sure. We ended up winning our class, which is awesome. And I think we were about 6th overall. So of course, as everyone knows, the overall is what we're going for always, especially in the Pro R. But I'll take a class win, and it was good. It was good to be back, and the Mint's so much fun. I've won it a couple times and raced it many times. And it's a tough race, and definitely I'd call that one it's a real desert race. So it's pretty cool to even get to the finish of that race. Definitely.
No doubt. No doubt. And I was so stoked to see you on the podium, and I'm always stoked, to see. I remotely suffer with you on the disappointments, and always celebrate with you no matter what. Um, Dude, it's like it really is an honor for me. Like you're, you know, you're probably always will be one of my boys, right? So
Always, yeah. I'm thankful to like we've talked about already, but yeah, to have people like you and everyone that's rooting me on always and always watching and everything. It's amazing.
yeah, and I know you guys, like when you're overseas, you're getting bombarded with messages on Instagram and all that. And I always send you a message. I'm pretty sure you guys read it. And I don't care if you don't, at least I sent it, because it's like I want you guys to know we're there, we got you back home. So 100%. Anybody messes with you, I don't have a problem punching them in the mouth.
Well, it's good to know you got my back. Thank you. I'll give you a call if anyone ever messes with me.
You got it. Yeah, we had to I had a rant during Dakar, and Cole encouraged me to make peace with France and the FIM. And so I I bite my tongue on that stuff. Um, but yeah, dude, so rad. I'm so glad you're on here. What's next? What kind of desert schedule are you racing this year?
We're still kind of finalizing things for this year, but I'm hoping that we'll be possibly at the Sonora Rally, which is the next one on the FIA calendar, which is in Mexico. So that'd be pretty cool. Other than that, yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot of the Red Bull scrambles. So I'll probably try and hit like 4 of those this year. So the next one I think coming up is in Texas.
Yeah, the ranch scramble.
Yeah, the Ranch Scramble will definitely be at the one in the sand at the dunes, Glamis. So
Yep.
doing a few of those, probably hit Vegas to Reno, and from there, still lining things up. But we'll be plenty busy this year, for sure.
Oh, no doubt about it. And, if you hit the rally raid and you need help with your road book, you got Cole's email now.
Perfect. He's
Yeah,
a pro.
I'll give you some directions 3 days later. I'll be like, well, it looks like you should have gone left. So.
At least if I could learn something, that's perfect.
Yeah, man. I'm checking my notes. That's in case you're wondering what I'm doing. It's hard to read my writing with glasses on. Um, so all right. Um, we're gonna do a little bit of a lightning round.
All right.
Surprise. All right. You ready, Cole?
Yeah, go for it.
No, start us off with yours.
All right. Sand or rocks?
Rocks.
Huh.
King
All
of the
right.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
Ham.
By the way, on that note, I would love to see either you and your dad back as a two-car team or in the same car together.
Either one, I'm in.
Maybe you should build like a super unlimited and two regular pro UTVs, turbo UTVs. Maybe you should build three cars and you both race the super unlimited together and then race the UTV pro class, turbo classes against each other.
I like it. We've had the thought of, maybe one day we'll do like a fighter jet car, which has like two seats like this, and then he sits behind me and navigates up above me.
That would be rad.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that, trendsetter, the Mitchie's works car in 15 was like, if not one, if not the one of the first single seat race cars that was converted from a two-seat car.
Yeah, that car was pretty cool. That was back in the works days. That was when we really, John Nelson, who is like one of the OG guys, built trophy trucks back in the day, actually kind of designed that and built it for us. And that was a cool car for sure. Definitely different.
Yeah, that was a sick car. All right, getting back to the list. Favorite color?
Blue.
Apple or Android?
Apple. Come on.
My man.
Oh boy. Skittles or M&M peanuts?
Skittles.
Fries or chips?
Fries for sure.
Okay. Okay. What is your favorite food?
Ooh. I'll go with sushi.
I knew that was coming. All right. Chicken strips or burger?
Ooh, chicken strips.
Spaghetti or lasagna?
Ooh, man. Spaghetti.
Nice. All right. Now everybody knows a little something about Mitch Guthrie
That's what I was
Jr.
gonna say. Yeah, now everyone knows all the details.
The
All
hard
right.
hitting questions. That's what we're
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. We're all about being tough. Uh, no, seriously, Mitchy, thank you so much for being on. I know we're hitting time and I know you're a busy dude. I appreciate you taking the time to be on here. Let's take a few minutes and be sure to mention all your sponsors, all your important people. Um, yeah, you got to do that, bro.
Yeah, definitely thankful for first of all my family, my girlfriend, everyone that helps me out, and my team, Guthrie Racing, all the guys that do everything to get everything ready for the races and keep me in line with all the stuff that I have going on. And then yeah, from there, big shout out to Polaris. We talked about the mint a bit, and they've been supporting me for a long time, so I'm excited to see what this year has in store with them. And then Red Bull, of course, as well, supporting me in both the international and the racing I do here. And then from there, yeah, there's a list. I don't want to forget anyone, but BFG Tires helps me out for I like to thank a lot of the sponsors that help me out now. I've built kind of like a family. So Polaris, Red Bull, BFG Tires, KMC Wheels, Four Wheel Parts, VP Fuels, Rigid Industries, Walker Evans Shocks. They've been around for so long helping me out. So that's a solid crew there. And, whoever else I'm forgetting, Lone Star Racing that builds the cars for us, Sparco. And yeah, I think that'll do it.
Nice. Yeah, I always like looking at uh your like your first post from Dakar when you're getting your kit, your new kit of gear.
Yeah, it's pretty cool when we show up there. Always new helmet. Yeah, we end up. I have way too many suits now because every year we get at least like 3 or 4 suits for the race, plus gloves and shoes and all that stuff. So they get
Yeah,
us dialed in for sure.
Sparko seems like pretty rad group, and that whole group that you mentioned are an awesome bunch of people, you know. And yeah, I'm Polaris has been behind you for a long time, and great group there. You know, Red Bull, man, the opportunities that they're giving the young guns, if you will, is just I think that's what I used to call him, and him and Seth and Ronnie and RJ back in the Muzzy days was the Muzzy Young Guns. Um, you know, and so yeah, and they still are to me anyways. But you guys, dude, thank you so much for being on. We just appreciate your time. I know how busy you are. Just trying to get this together. We want to get you right after Dakar, and it was just one thing after another for both of us. So, um, appreciate you taking the time tonight. And I want to give a special shout out to Mitch Sr. and Stephanie. Thanks for making an awesome kid and keeping him awesome, because I know if you weren't, your dad would kick your ass.
I agree.
But yeah, and thanks for bringing the whole family to that coffee line that fateful day in 2012 or 13, whatever it was. Man, that we butted into a friendship that became family, and I'm so blessed to know all y'all. And dude, I'm just thank you so much for spending a little time with us, coming along for the ride. Cole, what else you got?
Yeah, Mitch, thanks again for coming on. And thank you for being such an awesome U.S. ambassador, especially overseas with the Abu Dhabi races and Dakar. And yeah, thanks for making Dakar cool again.
Well, thank you guys. Thanks for all the kind words. I really appreciate it. And I'll always be on here. Anytime you guys want me on, I'll be here. So thank you.
Sold.
Yeah, hell yeah. I wanna do one with you and Seth. Are you guys still friends?
Yeah, of course.
I'm
I'm
just
not on his team racing against him, so
right. I no, I'm just kidding. I see you guys goofing off and stuff, you know, and all the Red Bull Off-Road Junior team videos when you're overseas, and I'm like, you know, it's pretty rad though that you guys got each other, right?
yeah, definitely. It's good to have some Americans there. We need it.
Yeah, I haven't met AJ personally, so I can't speak for him, but I know for me, it's rad to see you guys like they'll flash by you guys joking or laughing or talking serious, and I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, you know, it's really rad. So, um, yeah, other than a double shout out, well, and I'm gonna give an extra shout out to your girlfriend for putting up with you and giving up an hour plus of her time tonight with you when your time is so limited. Um, but yes, I would love to do an episode and have you and Seth. I'd also like to get you and Seth and your co-drivers sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
I think that'd be just crazy. Like I think in that situation, Cole and I could just sit back and listen.
You'll have plenty of stories, that's for sure.
That's such a big part of it, and that's what we're about it along for the ride. Story behind the story about what's current, and you know how racing is any kind of motorsports has affected our lives and how we're able to touch others through it. So, man, Mitchy, thank you so much for being on. You sure you got all your sponsors covered?
Close enough.
All right. Cole, any parting statements?
And thank you for being a great off-road ambassador. And I'll leave it at that.
Nice. Mitch, you got a closing statement?
Just thank you guys for having me on, and thanks to everyone that's watching.
Yeah, for sure, man. Have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you. See you guys.
See ya. Man, what a great time. Holy cow. I just love that kid to death, man. So awesome. And he is so busy. We are so lucky to get him for, I felt bad. We had him just a little over an hour. With that, we are capped. We need to thank our partners. Kelsey Morrell Film. Find her on Instagram at Kelsey Morrell Film. She's the one. If you watch us on YouTube, that's Kelsey doing all the magic to make this look good. Make Cole look as good as pot. You know what I mean?
She's good at editing. We'll leave it at that.
Right.
Yeah.
She's really good. Of course, the Premix podcast for all your desert photography needs. Following his passion, our incredibly talented, multi-talented producer and co-host, Cole Farrell. Find him on Instagram at the Premix Podcast, all one word, and line him out to come out to a race and get some pictures for you. He's reasonable and he does unbelievably good work. He also an MC if you need help there.
That as well. You're paying, I'm saying.
Yeah. Of course, Bomber Eyewear, bombereyewear.com. Tommy and the guys and girls, man, he wanted to build the Levi's of sunglasses, and he's not only achieved that where everyone should have 7 pairs, he's also unbelievably strong and durable safety glasses. I personally generally wear the Boogie Bombs in a dark smoke polarized lens that is also ANSI 87 and OSHA approved safety lens. And, oh yeah, they float. For all of you coming into summer, everybody down here at the river, you need Bomber Floating Eyewear. Find them at bombereyewear.com. And of course, the unbelievably incredible Kicker Performance Audio. 50 years, founded in Stillwater, Oklahoma in 1973. Mr. Steve Irby chased his American dream. Still in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Mr. Steve Irby is still in the office 50 years later, still building the highest quality audio out there. For all your 12-volt needs, check them out. Kicker Performance Audio, kicker.com. Cole, what you got?
Lots coming up on the calendar and too much to cram in here, so I'm very excited.
All right, looking forward to it. I think that's about the end of episode 31 with the one and only Mitch Guthrie Jr., or as I like to call him, Mitchie. Mad Dog out.